Hello and welcome to the Pitchside Studio. Lots to talk about, and as we discussed at the start of the play, that both the teams, or maybe all the three teams, be looking for that best combination before the start of the ICC Champions Trophy. But we thoroughly enjoyed, especially the batters out there, a pitch that offered lots and lots of runs, and it was an entertainment, absolute entertainment. One man who basically, I would say, was man of the moment with that catch, of course, a wicket, and 106 not out, got him here in the studio along with Sanamir. Glenn, thank you very much, firstly, for joining us. Just to take you at the start of your innings, I mean, just going to break it down. I'm pretty sure you already know it. 40 balls, 28 runs. Next 34 balls, 78 runs. Just run us through this. Did you have a total in mind when you walked in at 6?
I think when you lose two quick ones, I think your total outlook gets reduced quite massively. Kane obviously had a little bit of a struggle start, and I think the way that we thought the pitch was going to play, and obviously the way the Pakistan bowlers bowled, we thought it was maybe around that 250, 260 mark. But then, you know, the guys found some fluency. Daryl batted really well, and, you know, Kane found his touch, and Dad's beast at the end finished it really nicely, and we got a bit of momentum. So I think we aimed for that 260, 270, and then just the rest was icing on the cake.
Tell us a bit more. I mean, is it the first outing for the players out here because you've just arrived? Williamson, Mitchell and yourself took your time, and then after that everything was no looking back. So is it more about the surface, or is it just the first outing?
I think it's obviously surfaces that aren't necessarily known to us. We've come from some fast bouncy surfaces back home, you know, Eden Park, Hagley. So for us to be able to come here, it's always a big adjustment. We had some really good training surfaces where some of the balls kept quite low, which I think was great practice coming into today. And I think the way the new ball behaved while the sun was out definitely had that element of staying low every now and again. So I think for us, it was more about situational awareness as opposed to taking our time to get used to it. And we talk about setting up a game plan, and I guess the way the boys went about it at the start, that allowed us to do our thing at the end.
Sana, when you look at his innings, and New Zealand scored 84 in the last 5 overs, I mean, that probably was the difference between the two sides. Where do you place this knock? I mean, you've seen quite a few here at Gaddafi Stadium. And actually, I'm going to show you the way he went about, so that will be easier for you with the shot and the stroke play.
I think absolutely it was very entertaining. We all really enjoyed the way he played, and the best part is when you get the team to a total where you kind of take the opposition out of the equation in a way, because Pakistan had to play really good cricket throughout the 50 overs. It could not have been just 10 overs. The foundation was, as Glenn mentioned, the foundation was set by Kane Williamson and Daryl Mitchell. That was there. But in the middle, when you're losing wickets, you're able to convert your shots into the big, massive boundaries, and then innovations. I think reading the bowler, making him bowl the different lengths, I think that was amazing. 7 sixes, it's not an easy feat. I think the acceleration of the innings was splendid, and the way he was able to maneuver the length of the bowlers, I think that was very incredible.
Glenn, these are your knocks in ODIs, of course. The performance this evening tops right there. Where do you put this in terms of the context of the game and, of course, your career? First 100 for you in ODI.
Yeah, ODI cricket's been something that I've loved since I was young, and it's always been my favourite format personally. And so to be able to reach that feat, I think for me is a really special moment. You know, there was a stage where I didn't think it was going to come. The T20 ones that came, they sort of came out of nowhere, which was quite cool. But you know, I've had my opportunities, and I've obviously thrown a few of them away. So it was nice to be able to actually get over that line today.
A great zone to be in as a player just before the start of a big tournament, getting a big 100, and of course the team also gets that extra push.
Yeah, the process is feeling really good, and we try to keep that sort of focus as our team in general. So we try to stay process driven no matter what, whether the pitchers are playing well, whether they're playing badly, and that way we can keep ourselves level and I guess keep that situational awareness side of things going. So yeah, I guess going into the Champions Trophy, having a good hit out on a really good pitch, and then we may get trickier pitches in some of the other cities. So it's a really good start for us.
And one question, when you're setting a target in conditions which might not be familiar to you, was there a game plan to target a particular bowler, or it was more of acceleration when you had wickets in hand?
I think there are certain elements, like when Beast took down the left arm spinner at one stage, and obviously Salman Aga for me at the other end. I think that was really our only specific plan to target someone per se, and then after that it came down to wickets in hand, overs left, and both guys trying to hit it as far as we possibly could.
Well, Glenn, thank you for joining us. Thoroughly enjoyed your knock. Thanks for the entertainment and wish you best of luck for the remaining games.
Thank you very much.
All right, time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Vernon Philander. Sana stays with us. Welcome back once again to the pitchside studio. We're discussing the game that has just taken place. 78 runs is the margin where New Zealand scored their first 2 points in the Tri-Nation Series. And we've got a game lined up day after tomorrow. We'll talk about that. But Vernon Philander in the studio. Vernon, when you look at an innings like that from Glenn Phillips and you get into that beast mode, how do you react to it as a bowling unit? With nothing much you can do from what we saw.
Yeah, I think it's important to almost slow things down and afford yourself the best opportunity of getting him out. I think I always talk about the mindset as bowlers. Very often you go into a defensive mindset, and that's when you're running into trouble against an explosive player like Glenn Phillips. So it needs to reset, and just every ball you commit to the best ball that you're going to bowl. So again, I think we've seen too many half-hearted deliveries being bowled towards the back end. And hey, he's explosive. He's going to take advantage on every single scoring opportunity afforded to him.
With someone like Glenn Phillips, or in that particular way, the way he batted, you get a feeling that the bowler is trying to finish his over off as quick as possible. And that's where the trouble begins.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some wide deliveries, we saw some extras, full tosses, and that's the pressure a batter like him can put on the bowlers. And I think Haris Rauf getting injured, so Pakistan was not expecting that at that point, and I think there the plan B was not executed well. And like Phillips mentioned also, they were attacking both the spinners, Salman Ali Agha and then Khushdil Shah, and after that, once Shaheen came on, Naseem and Shaheen, they were able to attack them also. It's all the momentum shift required 1 or 2 overs, and after that the bowlers have to come in very strongly, which unfortunately this time Pakistan bowlers couldn't.
We're talking in commentary, and Vernon, you did mention about how Glenn Phillips is actually looking to, accelerate and targeting Khushdil Shah, and he mentioned that in his interview a while ago. But very two different formations of bowling units in the two sides for a similar surface.
Yeah, I think if you look back at the Pakistan innings, I think they'll be highly disappointed by losing wickets against spin. I think they pride themselves on playing spin well, and a lot of soft wickets at the top of the order. I think if they are to stand a chance of getting across the line this evening, it's not... Yeah, it's not the loss that's disappointing. It's the manner in which you lose. And I think they'll go back and assess scenarios and say to themselves, you know what, we've actually played ourselves out of this one.
Yeah, this is the Pakistan batting card. Fakhar Zaman did show some promise. 84 to his name, but he never found a partner, really. And that is what was required. 80 was scored by Mitchell as well, but that 106 was the difference. And Pakistan do bat. Up to Khushdil Shah, Tayyib is a proper bat. Salman, but just couldn't find their bearings, Sana.
I think Fakhar Zaman, Vernon mentioned on the commentary also that it looked like he was playing on a different surface, while Babar Azam, Kamran Ghulam, they were struggling with strike rotation. And at the top of the order, if you're playing that many dot balls, if I'm not wrong, in 19 overs, we had played 10 overs of dot, 60, almost 59 dots in the first 19 overs. And I think that takes a lot out of a batting unit, because it puts so much pressure on the coming batters as well, and on someone like Fakhar Zaman. So at the top of the order, it's extremely important that there's runs from both ends, and strike rotation is a regular feature.
Would you press the panic button, or you'd say no, this is one outing and then you can always, make a few changes for that second game in the Tri-Nation?
I think the squad that was announced, there were questions even before this happened. So I do think there is a room for consideration of how this squad can be strengthened. I do feel we should look at it. But yeah, I mean, it's all about sticking to your strengths as well and not panic too much.
Well, and finally now we'll come to you with South Africa playing day after tomorrow against New Zealand. I know some of your key players are playing the final of the SAT20, but if you look at that actual squad as a whole, which is being brought in for the ICC Champions Trophy, how do you see them competing here in the Tri-Nation?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for some of those younger players that will be afforded an opportunity. So Hey, you never know. I think there's still a couple of days to put your hand up and make a stake for a place. But I think South Africa in general, come Champions Trophy, I think they will have a wonderful squad, given the World Cup that they've just had over in the USA and the Caribbean. So they'll take a lot of confidence from that. A lot of players in form in the SA20 currently. So I do feel that come, obviously, the Champions Trophy, that there will be right on top of the list in terms of confidence. But again, come on Monday, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for some of the youngsters to put up their hand. Any
youngster can put up a strong case if they score big out here in front of the selectors for that main squad that will be participating. But I guess it'll be all fun. And from what we've seen out there, Bedouins will have a very, very good time. Yes, 330 might not happen every day, but it is a score that has taken place over here. See, and with that 100 from Glenn Phillips, that was one of the fastest hundreds here in Lahore. In fact, the 4th fastest. That's the endorsement for that. Glenn Phillips right there, he had a ball over time. He couldn't do anything wrong today. A catch, brilliant catch to dismiss Barber, then got the wicket of Fakhar Zaman, and then to score that 106 not out. All right, so time for us to now gear up for that second game in this Tri-Nation. And that is, of course, between New Zealand, who just won by 78 runs. And they'll be facing South Africa right here. But it's a day game, mind you. It starts at 9:30 local time. And we'll be right here with all that action for you guys here at the Gaddafi Stadium. It's a brilliant brand new ground. And I think it was a great feeling to see all this facility up and ready for this first game.
Absolutely. We talk about how quickly the ground was renovated, how everyone was speculating whether it will be completed in time or not. It has been completed, and it has been completed really well. When you talk about the seats, you talk about the lights, you talk about the overall atmosphere, I think it is definitely something much more improved than we have ever seen before.
You talk about the atmosphere. Let's have a listen to what the fans had to say in this opening game.
ग्राउंड का माहौल बहुत अच्छा था, बहुत एनर्जेटिक था. लाइक अब जो लास्ट टाइम से जब मेरा एक्सपीरियंस था बहुत इनहेंस था, क्योंकि अब ग्राउंड लग रहा था बिल्कुल आपके बिल्कुल पास है.
हम पहले भी आ चुके हैं, देखा है, लेकिन जो अभी व्यू है वो बहुत क्लियर है. पूरा एक परमानेंट व्यू आ रहा है, पूरा मज़ा आ रहा है.
पीसीबी ने जो 2 महीने के अंदर काम किया वो बहुत वेल डिजर्व और एक इंटरनेशनल रिकॉर्ड है कि इतनी जल्दी उन्होंने काम कंप्लीट किया.
बड़ा अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस है. मैं तो कहता हूँ कि भाई आएँ, लाजमी आएँ और अपनी फैमिलीज़ को लेकर आएँ. इंजॉय होगा इंशाल्लाह. और जो एक नॉर्मल रूटीन में भी मैचेस करते हैं वो भी इधर करें आगे.
मेरा फेवरेट प्लेयर है फ़खर ज़मान, जो अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो 100 नहीं कर पाए, आउट हो गए.
फ़खर ज़मान को हम देखने आते, बड़ी देर हो गई थी, उसको नहीं देखा था खेलते हुए. आज उसने माशाल्लाह बहुत अच्छा खेला है.
न्यूजीलैंड टीम बहुत अच्छी टीम है और स्पेशली उनका केन विलियमसन और जो ग्लेन फिलिप्स है वो आज बहुत अच्छा खेला है. जो उसकी शॉट्स थी, शहीन को जो दो छक्के मारे उसने पीछे के, वो बहुत अच्छे थे और मज़ा आया उनका देखने का.
तो अगला मैच जो न्यूजीलैंड और साउथ अफ्रीका के उसमें मैं न्यूजीलैंड के साथ, क्योंकि न्यूजीलैंड की आज परफॉर्मेंस मैंने देखी है, A1 परफॉर्मेंस की है, तो डेफिनेटली अगले मैच में मैं न्यूजीलैंड के साथ.
I'll translate that for you. They're all saying, come here and you get to meet Vernon Philander.
Absolutely. I think new stadium, new Fakhar. That's what we all came here to see.
All right. Now, speaking of Vernon Philander, he's got his side. We'll be competing day after tomorrow. And this is the Vigotel Mobile presents a light bag Tri-Nation Series Match 2. It's going to be Santner and Bawuma locking horns on the 10th of Feb. And the coverage will start at 8:55 a.m. It's a day game, so don't miss that out right here at the Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore. I'm going to thank my guests out here, Sana and Vernon. Thank you very much for joining us. Get some well-deserved rest. And you guys, don't forget to join us. We'll be back here 8:55 in the morning on the 10th. Until then, take care of yourself, and it's good night.